Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on top 10 IT jobs in the lockdown or even after the lockdown. Right. So, today in this session, we will be discussing what are the top 10 jobs that you can apply for while you are basically, we are going through a lockdown, as you know, because of the COVID-19 disease. So, what are the things that you can basically focus on, and what are the things that you can basically predict as to what will be more beneficial for you once this lockdown ends, or even while this lockdown is going on. So we're going to look at some facts today and understand logically what are the things that are going to be more fruitful for us if we learn now and we can utilize later. All right. So let's start with the session, guys. So before we start off the session, we have some people on the webinar, and we also have some people who are there on YouTube, right? So people on the webinar, you are free to go ahead and ask me questions, and I'll be answering them live, right? So this is going to be a very short session. It will be around half an hour or so, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the jobs first, and then I'm going to answer all your questions. Okay. So let's start off with the session, guys. So first things first, as you all know, the lockdown has basically led to a crash of economies across the world, right? There is no country which is not going through a loss right now. And that is all because people are at home, people are not able to go to their workplace, and they're not able to work, right? But how do you basically take this? So you can either be very sad about it, you can complain to others, or you can be a visionary, right? And you can see how you can basically support your growth in this lockdown or even after this lockdown. So, where are the opportunities? So, if you think about, okay, so if I want to be more successful, probably after this lockdown or even in this lockdown, what are the things that I should focus on? So, where are the opportunities? Where should I basically focus my attention on? Right. So, as you all know, that being online is a new normal right now. Each and every guy who is basically there at home, who is isolated at home, they're all online for some reason or the other. It could be because of your office work, it could be because you are looking for some entertainment, etc. Right. So, being online is a new normal now. And if being online is a new normal, you can automatically understand that you can do something online to earn. Right now, what are the things that you can do online? So if you talk about online businesses, so let's take the example of Amazon, which is the world's biggest e-commerce company, or let's talk about Flipkart. So all of these companies are thriving in the lockdown. Why? Because people are not going to malls anymore, people are not going to shops anymore, they're buying everything online, right? So that's why online business such as Amazon, such as Flipkart, they're all thriving, and any other business as well which is completely online and is not dependent on any manufacturing company which requires people to go to their office is thriving right now, right? So these should be the companies that you should focus on while you are looking at what are the kind of skills that you should imbibe. Okay, having said that, the first profile that I'm going to talk about is the digital marketing profile. Now, all of you know that you all are on social media. So the first thing that comes to your mind is, okay, if somebody is on social media, how are the social media companies earning? They're earning because of ads. They're earning because of content marketing, right? And all this is basically comes under the domain of a digital marketer, right? So if you are a person who is interested in digital marketing or is pursuing a career which might lead to the digital marketing profile, then I think this is the best time that you can make use of skills. And I think you guys are safe when it comes down to sailing through the lockdown while also taking into account your growth. Now, I'm not saying the other profiles which are out there, then they are basically not earning or such. But most of the profiles that I know of, which probably are not related to online business, probably this year, if I'm not saying the jobs are in danger or something like that, but most of the companies will not give a hike this year, right? And the sole reason for that is most of the companies, they are not seeing any growth this year. But if you are a digital marketer, and with your with this situation which is going around us, since all the people are online right now, you obviously are getting more eyeballs to your content. And if you basically show your skills in the right kind of way right now, I think it will be helpful for you, not only in terms of growth, but also in terms of exploring opportunities or exploring how you can improve your skills in the digital marketing domain. So this was the first profile. Now, the next profile is, now, like I said, being online is the new normal, which basically means that companies or products or even shops which are not online right now, they will want to have an online presence, which basically means they would want to have a website, they would want to have products which can be made available online. And because of that, the full stack development profile is going to be very much in demand in the coming months, right? Now you might say, okay, so you mean to say front end developers or back end developers, they're not in demand. But if you think about it logically, companies are going to cut down costs, right? And when you talk about a full stack developer, he's basically a person who not only knows front end, he also knows back end, he also knows the middleware, right? So a person who knows all these technologies together would obviously be preferred than a person who is just sticking on to one technology, right? So if you are a person who is a front end or a back end developer, I think now is the time that you should invest your skills in becoming a full stack developer, because that is what the world would be wanting more in the coming months. Moving forward, database administrators is also a profile which is going to be a lot trending in the coming months. The reason being, if you talk about online businesses, and if you are an IT professional, you would understand that the main heart of any online application is its database, right? So databases are going to get, your websites are going to get a lot of traffic, and the most load that is going to come on is going to be on the databases. Now, not everybody can manage a database, right? There are a lot of best practices, there are a lot of features in databases that only database administrators would know. And that is why this profile is also going to be the most in demand in the coming months as well. Moving forward, let's also talk about the roles which are basically going to impact businesses. So for a business, let's say I have a company, I would obviously prefer a guy who can manage teams, who has managed teams in the lockdown, in the work from home situation. So as you all know, if you're not in offices, if you're at home, obviously a little bit of productivity, it does go down, and right. And if you have a good manager on top of you, not only you will be happy, but at the same time the work will also go smoothly. And that is exactly what the businesses are after for, right? They not only want the employee satisfaction, but they also want the productivity to not go down. So if you're a good manager, right, so then there are a lot of chances that you basically are going to be a lot in demand after or even in the lockdown, when companies will try to approach you. Now when we talk about these kind of profiles, now there are a lot of managers which are out there, right? But let's talk about from the IT perspective, what kind of profiles can basically this fit in. So let's talk about a profile called DevOps engineer. So DevOps engineers are people who are a backbone for a technical team, who's working in a company. So if there are 50 or 60 people who are working on one particular product, it basically is the job of a DevOps engineer to ensure that all their work, goes on to the production or the testing servers, etc. So if you are a DevOps engineer, not only you will be the center of attention in a tech team, but also the fact that most of the companies will be looking out for you, since it makes the job of handling people and handling their work in a work from home situation more easier. So if you are a DevOps engineer, or if you are interested in learning DevOps, I think you're thinking about the right thing. Next thing is, now let's also take into account that a lot of companies, they have their own data centers, and data centers already obviously need people to basically operate, right? So because of the lockdown situation, because people are reluctant to go outside now, what companies will try is they will try to have their servers on cloud. Why will they want to have them on cloud? Because obviously then they would have to deal with less people in the company, and at the same time everything can be managed from the comfort of their home. So even if there are server administrators, if there are you know server administrators or architects, right? So if you have to deal with a data center which is homegrown, in that case, you have to rely on a lot of people who are going to manage that hardware for you. But if everything moves online, it'll be a breeze for the architects, the administrators to work on the servers. And that is exactly what companies will try to do in this lockdown in the coming months. Now, when that is the case, what are the different or what are the top cloud providers that are out there in the world? So the number one cloud provider which is out there in the world is AWS, right? So AWS jobs are going to thrive in the coming months. Reason being that companies are now going to shift to cloud, and when they shift to cloud, they obviously need a person who understands the cloud hardware. And if you are shifting to the Amazon Web Services domain, which is the number one cloud provider in the market, obviously there'll be more jobs because it already has a greater market share, in the cloud industry. Then next is Azure. So Azure is again a very good contender for learning as a technology because it's again a cloud platform, and companies which are totally dependent on Microsoft product, this is the cloud platform that they really opt for. Why? Because Microsoft products, if you are running in your company and if you want to run it on Azure, they're going to be a lot cheaper. If you try to run it on AWS, it'll be a lot more expensive. And the sure reason for that is that Azure is basically owned by Microsoft, right? And since it is owned by Microsoft, they can also control the pricing of the licenses that they basically deploy on the Azure cloud platform. So if you are a person who is keen to learn a cloud platform, and if you think you are good with Microsoft products, you should go ahead and learn the Azure technology. All right. The next thing is that automation is going to be the utmost priority for companies. Why? Because more the automation, it means less of the workforce required. Right now, if that is a scene, there are a lot of technologies which are there in the automation sphere that you can think of learning in order to be in the most in demand profiles. So, for example, the first technology which comes to my mind is robotic process automation. Now, this has been around for 3 or 4 years, and it has gained a lot of popularity. But I think in the coming months, companies are going to try implementing this technology more, because not only it is going to require less workforce, but at the same time there will be more efficiency or improvement in what the company is trying to do with this process. So robotic process automation is again a very good skill to learn, and there are popular tools out there that you can learn with robotic process automation. For example, you have UiPath, you have Automation Anywhere. So whichever tool you think is, you can find more on Naukri or any other job portal. If you go there, right, that is the tool that you should go for. If you were to take my suggestion, I think UiPath right now is the most popular tool, right? And then you have Automation Anywhere as well. Right, so learning any of these two would fetch you a good salary and at the same time a good job as well, which is in demand right now. The number two job, I think, which everyone knows right now, it's about AI and machine learning engineers. And this is again because of the fact that because a lot of people are now online, right, there is a lot of data to basically play with. And at the same time, it also contributes towards automation, because let's say if you have a chatbot, which on let's take the example of Zomato or Swiggy, which is basically a food ordering platform, right? So if you want to take a refund, or let's say if you have a problem with your order, what you do is you chat with the support executives which are there on that platform. Now, most of the platforms which have a chat application built in are now basically on artificial intelligence and are making use of AI for interacting with the users. And the sheer reason for that is it requires less workforce, right? It basically improves efficiency, and at the same time, the same machine that you have deployed the AI model on can deal with thousands of customers. Right, so it is going to save costs, and at the same time, it is also going to improve efficiencies, and that is why the AI or the machine learning engineer profile is also going to be in demand in the coming future. And number one, I think it's hands down, it's going to be data scientists. So why data scientists? Because like I said, because a lot of people are now online, there is a lot of data which is now going to be generated, right? So if you have to find trends, if you have to find how your product is doing, I think your company would need a data scientist right now to tell you how to make better business decisions in the time that is coming forward, right? Because data scientists are the people who do not only do guesswork, they basically work with data and they give real facts. And that is exactly what companies are looking for right now. Why? Because companies, the time that we are in right now, nobody knows what has to be done, right? So everybody can just rely on data to basically predict what is going to happen in the future. And that is exactly what data scientists will do if you hire them for your company, right? So guys, these were the top 9 jobs that you can basically think about filling up for if you want to be in the most in-demand section of job profiles that are out there. Now, the next question that you're going to ask is, how can we learn all these technologies? Okay, so you have told us that these are all the technologies that we can learn, but how do we start about it, right? Now, let me tell you a very cool thing. So we at Intellipaat, we understand that all the people around the world are struggling with jobs right now. So what we have done is we have basically launched a platform called Intellipaat Academy, where we have given some free courses for you to start off with. Now, these are not full courses, but these will basically give you an idea about how the technology basically is. And most of the technologies that I've discussed, AI, cloud, DevOps, database, right, and even more, are basically listed over here free. So you can enroll yourself into these courses for free. Just now, you can enroll yourself for free and see whether that technology is basically intriguing you or not, right? And if it does, I think there's no reason to then hold back. If you like a way of teaching, you can actually go ahead and enroll for a premium courses as well, right? Apart from them, if you talk about other free resources that you can go through, you have the YouTube platform as well. You have the Intellipaat Academy platform that I just told you. So on YouTube also, we have a channel where we regularly post videos about technology, about different technologies, data science, DevOps, etc. So if you have already not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do that. And also you can find a lot of playlists over there with respect to the different technologies that we have just discussed. And you can learn more over there as well, right? And finally, we also have a blog platform, which is intellipaat.com/blog, where we regularly update content on different technologies, which again, you can, if you're a avid reader, you can go ahead and read from there, right? Now, people who are interested, we also are offering you a 30% off discount, because we understand that skilling up is the current thing that you would want to do in order to stay relevant in the industry. So all our courses, we are giving a flat 30% off. All you have to do is make use of the promo code YouTube30, and then you can avail this awesome discount, right? So with that said, guys, I'd like to end this session. And if we have any questions, let's answer them right now, and then we can move forward. So Virendra says, I want to know which IT jobs are better in the current situation. Virendra, I've just told you. Okay, Krishna says, where does data analyst job roles lie? So data analyst job roles, I think they will lie in between data scientists and machine learning engineers. But yes, those are also jobs which are going to be in demand in the coming future. Okay. Victor is saying, thank you for the session, for very helpful. What do you think about Salesforce? So Victor, Salesforce also has, it's a cloud platform again, right? Which it has a lot of market. But I think the jobs that we have listed right now are the jobs which will be the most in demand. So Salesforce has relatively a very lesser market share when you compare it to cloud platforms like AWS and Azure. And at the same time, the work that Salesforce does is also very different, right? So that's why we've not included it in the list. But because it's a cloud platform, it's a very good option as well to go for, right? But because we were talking about the top 10, that is the job profiles that I've listed. Deepak is saying, is Tableau a good tool to learn? So Deepak, I think Tableau again is a tool which is going to help data scientists to show their results, right? We have not included it in the list, but yes, it can be considered as a good option to learn. And if you're interested to learn Tableau, even on Intellipaat Academy, the website that I just showed you, you can go ahead and enroll yourself for the free course of Tableau. And if you're interested, you can also enroll for the premium course. That is all up to you. Okay, Yunus is saying, I'm completely new to the IT field and I'm interested to learn and work on DevOps and Azure. What would that be something that I can go with? Sure, so you can do that. But since you're not, since you're new to the IT field, I would suggest you first go with cloud. So learn Azure first, and then learn DevOps, because DevOps will also require you to learn the Linux operating system first. So I think if you go with cloud slowly and steadily, because you will be deploying servers, you will be working with Linux, you can learn Linux then, and then you can also learn DevOps. If you're interested to learn this with Intellipaat, we have a master's program on cloud, which you can actually enroll in. And that would basically help you to not only cover Azure, but DevOps and AWS at the same time. And we have also listed down some other courses that are also are a part of that master's program, keeping in mind the job descriptions which are out there, which are looking out for cloud engineers, right? So if you want, you can just go ahead to our website, or you can also call us on the numbers if you want more info. Okay, Amit is saying, what about the educational qualification required? So Amit, I think most of the companies right now, well, I'm not talking about companies like some very big companies, because they probably have processes in place. But if you talk about mid-sized companies or companies which are smaller than that, they only care about the experience that you have. So even if so, I'm not sure if you know about it. For example, I'm from an engineering background, and I know a lot of people who were not there in computer science, who were not there in information science, but they pursued their passion towards probably coding, or being a database administrator, being a system administrator, and they're working in MNCs right now. So it really does not matter what your educational qualification is, but if you have the skills and you have done the relevant projects, the companies will be going ahead and taking you off for the job role that they're offering. Dinar is saying, can you share the job list again, please? So Dinar, what I'm going to do is, this video is going to be emailed to you by, I think, tomorrow morning. Or if you want, you can also go to our YouTube channel, where this video will be later available for your viewing. Okay, Iqbal is saying, how about SaaS? So software as a service is again, Iqbal, I mean, it's a niche technology to be in, but if you talk about the job market share of SaaS, it's not that big as the jobs that I've just discussed, right? But if you want to pursue, if your passion is in SaaS, I should definitely recommend you to go in that. And SaaS also is a very broad domain. There are a lot of things that are there in SaaS. So if there is any particular product that you want to go for, I would recommend you to see the cloud, job market for it first, and then try to learn that. Okay, so Ajit is saying, what are all the things that we should learn to become a DevOps engineer? So Ajit, if you want, what you can do is just head over to our website, go to the DevOps course, go to the course content. So there are some 10 tools which are listed over there. So those 10 tools are the open source tools that you need to learn, at least to start off in the DevOps domain, right? Apart from that, you also have to learn the services which are there on cloud. So AWS has its own set of DevOps services. Azure has its own set of DevOps services. But before that, I think it'll be better if you learn the open source tools. So if you want the list of the tools, you can just head over to intellipaat.com, search for DevOps, see the list over there, and then that'll give you an idea what you have to learn. Okay. Vasu is saying, what about MuleSoft? So Vasu, I'm not really sure about what MuleSoft is. I'm sorry, but probably what you can do is you can just drop us a mail at sales@intellipaat.com, and we can probably give you, an analysis of how MuleSoft is doing right now in the job. So personally, I don't have an idea about that. Okay, Komal is saying, how much Azure is demanding? So Komal, Azure is the second largest cloud provider in the market right now, right? And it is in demand. And like I said, it is more in demand for companies which are totally dependent on Microsoft products, because they are more cheaper on Azure than on any other cloud platform, right? So if you are aiming for a company which is, making use of any Microsoft products, I think Azure should be the one for you to learn. But at the same time, if I give you one more perspective about learning Azure, so AWS, since it's the largest cloud platform, there's a lot of competition over there, right? So these days, because more and more companies are adopting Azure, why? Because first, cost effectiveness. Second, they are already making use of AWS, but they do not just want to rely on Amazon. They also want to rely on a secondary cloud provider, because we never know which company will go down which day, right? So if Amazon goes down tomorrow, you cannot just rely on that company for running your business, right? So that's why businesses are also preferring a second cloud provider now, which is going to basically act as a backup. So again, Azure professionals are also getting into the market space of AWS. So wherever a company is using AWS, so companies have also started to shift their some of the products on Azure too, so that they're not totally dependent on the cloud platform that they're working with. Okay. So Raghu Varun is saying, hi, in DevOps, what was the best tool to learn and mostly companies use in software industry? So Raghu Varun, I think if you talk it from the web development perspective, I think Kubernetes and Docker and Git, these three are the most used tools in the DevOps domain, which even a developer is expected to now know, right? But when you talk about from a DevOps engineer perspective, I think you have to learn the whole list of 10 tools that I talked about earlier that you have to go to our website and see in order to become a DevOps engineer, because all those tools, they work in conjunction with each other to basically give or provide a DevOps lifecycle. Okay, so Bhavesh is saying, what is the learning path for data scientists? So Bhavesh, for data scientists, again, there are a lot of machine learning algorithms that you have to go with. There is a programming language first you have to focus on. For example, Python is there, R is there, right? So again, if you want, you can go ahead on our website and just search for data science, and you will find the courses over there, and just go to the course content. And that is exactly what is expected in a job description these days. So you can just go over there and see like what is the way for you to learn. Okay, so Amit is saying, is it necessary to have a degree related to CSE and IT? Not at all, Amit. So like I pointed out earlier as well, so I have friends who are from a non-IT background, in the sense they have done mechanical or they have done civil engineering, and now they are working in the CSE field. So it really doesn't matter, right? Until and unless you're applying to a very big MNC, where sometimes the HR processes are very stringent and they basically focus on the educational qualification more if you are coming from a non-IT sector. But if you are a person who has been in the industry, who has been in the IT industry for the past 3 or 4 years, they really don't care about what educational qualifications you are. What they would focus on is what you have done in the past company and what your current skills are. Okay, Abhishek is saying, what are some management courses that is best to learn? I think in management courses, I think you can go for Scrum Master course. You can also go for PMP. So if you are into management, I think those courses will also help you a lot, because like I said, the managerial job is going to be the most in demand in the coming months, because for a company, it is a very crucial resource, a manager. Why? Because they can manage multiple people under them. And that is exactly what is required in this work from home scenario. Okay, Jitesh is saying, how can I do projects through online classes? Okay, so Jitesh, the way online learning basically works is, so let's say if you enroll with us for learning any course, so what we do is, with every course, we don't only give you hands-on projects, we also give you assignments which are industry related, which are basically problems that you might face when you work as that profile in your company. And at the same time, we also give you projects, right, which are again real world projects, which while you're working as a cloud or a DevOps or a data scientist, you might get while you're working in that company. So all those projects, once you attempt while you're learning with the e-learning company that you have enrolled for, right? So those projects, those assignments, the people that learn with us, what they do is they include it in their resume, and that's how when they apply for jobs, they show that experience, that this is the experience that I have, this is what I've learned, and this is what I can do for you as well if you basically hire me. Okay, so Bhavesh is saying, like, it's including programming, statistic, visualization, and various algorithms. So Bhavesh, I think what you're referring for, data scientist. Okay, so in data scientist, programming language is something that you have to learn. So like I said, if you go over to Intellipaat.com, you will find modules for statistics, you will find modules for visualization, right, and every other algorithm which is required in basically in order to get started in this in this particular profile. So what I can do is just head over to our website, go to the course content section of the data science course, and then you will be able to see what all is required to learn as a data scientist. Okay, so Jitesh, if we select online courses, so I think your sentence is not complete, Jitesh. Amit is saying, please tell me about the prerequisites about these 9 IT jobs. So Amit, as a prerequisite, I think all these technologies that we have listed, all these are basically, a part of even our e-learning platform and even our academy, which is free for everyone to learn, right? As a prerequisite, for some of these profiles, for example, for learning AWS or Azure, there's no prerequisite. But for learning DevOps, you might have to learn Linux. So if you enroll for a DevOps course with us, let's say within Intellipaat, we also give you the Linux course, right? If you want to self-learn, so in that case, again, I would request you to just go to Intellipaat website, see the course content over there. You will also see some of the free courses which are listed by us when you buy a free course, when you buy a premium course with us. So those free courses are basically the prerequisites, right? Uh, Other than that, as a data scientist, again, it's all your zeal to learn. I've seen people who are from a different background, probably a development background or probably from a managerial background, and what they do is they are interested in the technology, they buy the course from us, they learn with this. They probably are not as fast as the people who are from a proper IT background, but at the same time, with the proper time invested, they catch up, and at the same time they get their dream jobs. So it's, if you are asking about the prerequisites of the 9 jobs that I've listed down, I think the prerequisite is your zeal to learn. So if you have the zeal to learn and if you give the dedication required to learning that subject, nothing is impossible. You can go ahead and learn any technology, not only by enrolling yourself in an e-learning company, but even by your own. You can self-learn as well online. But I mean, from my experience, what I can tell you is that I understand that you all are working professionals, right? You might not get the time because of the current job that you're in to basically spend the right time required for a technology to learn. And that's why we, as e-learning companies, we help working professionals to first be disciplined, but and at the same time connect to the right mentors, which will teach you a technology which they are already working in, right? Okay. So Mr. Suresh is saying, which is the field best for non-programming person? So Mr. Suresh, like I said, Azure and AWS are technologies which do not require you to know programming. So I think if you are looking out for a non-programming job, you can either apply for them or you can apply for the digital marketer profile as well, which again does not require you to know coding, which is again good. So it all depends on your interest and how you want to explore it as to which technology you think is going to be more beneficial for you. Okay. Then Jitesh is saying lab. Okay. So Jitesh, when you enroll for an online course, we give you labs. So labs in the sense, for example, let's say you enroll with us for the AWS course. So what AWS gives to beginners is a 1 year free uh, tier in which you can deploy servers for free for the whole 1 year and practice on it. Right. Similarly, some courses which do not have this kind of an opportunity, what we do is we give you virtual machines, right? Those virtual machines have everything set up inside it, and you can basically download it on your system and work on it, right? Other than that, if you talk about DevOps basically we teach on cloud platforms like AWS and Azure, which again do not charge you anything, and you can deploy the tools over there and learn how basically a DevOps pipeline is basically used. In case of data science, if you go for the architect course, we give you a cloud lab where you can practice everything. Or on the other hand, we also help you install all the tools required on your personal computer, which you can make use of in order to complete the assignments, the practicals which are required for completion of the course. Okay, so Iqbal is saying how many levels of trainings are there in AWS Architect course? So Iqbal, AWS Architect has 2 levels. One is associate and the other one is professional. So associate is the entry level certification for AWS Architect, right? And if you think you already know cloud, you have already cleared that certification, you can enroll for the professional course as well. So that is up to you. Okay, Yunus is saying thank you. All right, Yunus. How about enterprise architect? Iqbal is saying. So, Iqbal, enterprise architect would also deal with hardware architectures, server architectures for a company. So I guess that gets covered when you're dealing with cloud or DevOps. I think that gets covered in the skills that are there for an enterprise architect. Amit is saying, may I know certification for an Intellipaat would be helpful in career transition for non-IT background personnel? Well, a certification from Intellipaat will help you because not because you're from a non-IT background, but because we have trained a lot of corporates, right? So we are a well-known name among corporates like General Electric, Society General, Dell, right? And many more companies that we have trained in. So if you take a certificate from Intellipaat telling them that this is the company that I've trained with, they will obviously recognize it and they will know the quality of training that you would have got, because we've also trained their employees on technologies that they require, right? So that's not a big deal. Coming to your non-IT background, uh, I think if you are interested in a technology, like I said earlier as well, the background does not matter because we have a lot of assignments, we have a lot of projects in each and every course of ours. So if you include those projects, those assignments, first of all, you will have to complete them, obviously. And then when you include it in your resume, that amounts to the experience. Let's say somebody is a data scientist in some company. Now, when they're doing a shift from their company to some other company, they tell what they have done in the previous company, and that basically counts as experience. Similarly, when you learn with us, we also give you assignments, we also give you projects, and that becomes an experience for you to show in the company that you're applying for. Okay. Prashant is saying, what about GCP? Is it not in demand? So Prashant, GCP is the third largest cloud provider. So the first two are AWS and Azure. So that's why we have not included it in the list. But when you talk about jobs that are currently out there, I think AWS and Azure jobs are more than GCP. But yes, if you are interested or if your company is working with GCP, you can go ahead and skill up yourself with GCP as well. Okay, Jitesh is saying, can I associate with open projects, open source projects? Yes, Jitesh. So, but that would have to be from your side. So, in the sense that when you want to enroll yourself into an open source project, first of all, you will have to have some credits, at least on GitHub. You will have to start small. Probably you can do some changes in documentations of already existing products, and that's how you build up the repo among the open source communities. And when you do that, that's how you get into the main core of open source projects. Once you build a trust among the open source community that you are probably going for example, Mozilla is a very good open source community, right? Again, Kubernetes, let's say it's an open source project. So if you enroll yourself in the Kubernetes project, let's say you suggest some changes for the documentations that they have, and if your changes get accepted, automatically you get reputation points, and then you get known among the community which is basically working in Kubernetes. So that's how you can build on that, and then probably contribute more to the open source projects. Okay, so Kuruva is saying, what about Salesforce developer? Is there any jobs now? So Kuruva, like I said, Salesforce has jobs, but Salesforce has a lesser market share when you compare it to its other cloud counterparts such as AWS and Azure. And again, Salesforce also is in a different domain. For example, it offers solutions such as marketing cloud. It offers solutions such as platform as a service, which is altogether different. Right now, there are companies which are making use of Salesforce, and again, those companies are thriving. The reason being, cloud is again something which is in demand right now, right? So if you are a person who is on the Salesforce track and who wants to pursue this, there's no harm. But what today I've talked about are the top 9 jobs, according to me, which basically will be thriving in the lockdown. Okay. So Prashant says Google Cloud. I think, Prashant, I've answered your question. Jitesh says, because experience will only be a thing to highlight to a skilled person and so on. So yes, Jitesh. So that's how the assignments and the projects that we give you once you are done with a particular module in a course, that is how you will showcase to your potential employer that this is the kind of projects that I've done, and I'm pretty sure your company will also have the same kind of work for me while I get hired in your company. Okay. Ajit is saying cloud plus DevOps is good or cloud plus DevOps is good. So I think what you have said, Ajit, is both the same. So cloud and DevOps both are technologies which, if you are in the DevOps domain or if you are in the cloud domain, if you are looking for growth, essentially when you reach the 20-25 lakhs package in India, cloud and DevOps both are gelled up technologies which will be used together. Right. So even if you look at any senior cloud profiles right now, they will have a hint of DevOps in them, right? Because that is expected from a cloud engineer once he becomes senior. So yes, cloud and DevOps is a very good combo, and that is the sole reason Intellipaat for master courses, we have the Cloud Master course, which basically makes use of not only the cloud technologies like AWS and Azure, but it also makes use of DevOps, open source tools, Azure DevOps services, AWS DevOps services, which is all taught in that course. So if you're interested, you can have a look at the course content over there. Okay, Deepak is saying, if you go for Azure, do we need any system administrator experience? Deepak, it depends. So Azure has a lot of certifications. You have the developer certification, you have the administrator certification, right? And then you have the architect certification as well. So based on which certification that you are applying for, your experience might matter. For example, if you're applying for an architect certification, in that case, you do not require administrator or developer experience. But if you're applying for an administrator certification, then it requires you to have an administrator background. If you're applying for a developer, it requires you to have a developer background, because the exam that you're going to crack will be based on those skills. But when you talk about architects, since architect is a kind of profile which is very logical in nature, and at the same time it requires a good knowledge of the products which are offered by cloud. It is something which can be learned and is not related to your past experience. Okay. So Shweta is saying, currently I'm taking a class with Intellipaat for AWS Solutions Architect. Do you think learning Azure at the same time makes one more marketable? Shweta, if you are done with AWS and then you want to start with Azure, yes, it will make you more marketable, because if you look at the cloud engineer, so the profile that you will be applying for eventually will be the cloud engineer profile, right? So if you search for cloud engineer profile on Glassdoor or on Naukri or on Indeed, you will know that the cloud engineer profile not only is expecting you to know AWS, but at the same time, it is expecting you to know some other technology or cloud platform as well. And most of the times, it's Azure. So if you know two cloud platforms, obviously it is going to help you out. Okay, Amit is saying for management students, please suggest the course. So Amit, like I said, for management, you can go for Scrum, you can go for Agile course, you can also go for PMP courses, because those courses are about team management and basically tell you how to improve your team management skills. So which will be on the non-technical side. So those are also technologies which are going to be relevant in the coming times. Okay, Pranab is saying, hi sir, thank you for very much for sharing this video. Welcome, Pranab. Yunus is saying, does having cloud certification along with DevOps help in better DevOps opportunities? Yunus, for DevOps opportunities, knowing DevOps and knowing the DevOps services will help. But if, like I said, there is also a profile called senior cloud engineers or cloud architects, where having the cloud and DevOps knowledge is necessary. And also that particular profile sits in the higher bracket, right? So if you are starting off, I would suggest you to just go with DevOps, apply for the DevOps profile, get some experience over there, and then start to learn cloud as well. And then probably you can apply for higher jobs too, right? If you already know DevOps, then yes, the next logical step is for you to learn cloud. Okay. Alok is saying, all queries answered smoothly. Humble request, respected sir. All 9 points as I joined 10 minutes back. So Alok, what we would be doing is we would be sharing the video with you. Also at the same time, this video is also available on YouTube for YouTube watch. So all you have to do is go to YouTube, search for Intellipaat. That video is over there. You can have a look at all the things that we just discussed. Okay. So Sugaresh is saying starting package for cloud computing jobs for freshers. So Sugaresh, it ranges from 4 to 5 lakhs till 30 to 35 lakhs as well. So it all depends on the skills that you're bringing onto the table. How good are you with the things that you have learned? And based on that, the package is what you get. For freshers, the salary can range between, like I said, 4 to, so it starts with 4. And even freshers are people who might have an exorbitant skill in, what they have studied. Some people really, gel up with the technology that they're learning and they go very deep in it. So if you are among those, you can even expect a salary of around 10 to 12 lakhs as a starting salary if you are learning cloud. But if you, let's say, are a person who is going along with the flow, then I think the starting salary would be around 4 to 5 lakhs, which are support roles in cloud. Then there is also something called as junior architects, which get around 6 to 7 lakhs. And then, comes the profile of cloud support engineers or cloud engineers, which starts from 10 to 12 lakhs. So Sugaresh is saying, is there good future for cloud computing up to 15 years? So Sugaresh, cloud computing is the future. So almost all the companies, I'd say 50 to 60% of the IT companies now are on cloud, right? And the rest for 35 to 40% are going to be there in the next 15 years of time that you're mentioning. Okay, Shwetal is saying thanks, all right. Ajit is saying testing plus DevOps, is it good, or cloud plus DevOps is good? So testing is not something which will go along with DevOps, Ajit. So if you have a testing background, then you can learn DevOps and be good for you, right? But if you talk about learning two skills, cloud and DevOps are the two skills that you should learn in order to fetch a higher package. Okay, Rohan is saying how to prepare for machine learning jobs. So Rohan, again, just head over to Intellipaat, go to the machine learning course. We have the course content written over there. You have to be well versed with that in order to apply for the machine learning job. Like those are the things which are mentioned in the job description while you're applying for jobs. Okay. Alok is saying, what is the salary for data scientist from fresher to experience? So I think for data scientists, it starts from around 4 to 5 lakhs, Alok, right? And then it can go up to 35 to 40 lakhs as well. So it all depends on the skills that you're bringing to the table. Okay, Rohan is saying, how to prepare for machine learning jobs? Rohan, I think I just answered you. Jawahar is saying, can you have today's recording? I missed out about 15 minutes of the webinar. So Jawahar, like I said, this recording is also available on YouTube for you to watch. So you can go over there, have a look if you are interested. And if you are interested, if you're really interested in any of the course, you can always come back to Intellipaat, go to Intellipaat Academy, and that will help you to learn that course for free. And if you're interested to learn more, you can also enroll into a premium courses. Okay, Ajit is saying Intellipaat Test Architect course covers testing plus DevOps. So why testing in DevOps? So Ajit, that's because if you are, let's say, from a testing background, let's say you're a manual tester, right? So if you are a manual tester, the next thing for you to basically learn would be automation testing. Now, once you learn automation testing, you can either apply for automation testing roles, or you can even upgrade yourself by learning DevOps. So what people usually do is they buy the master's course, they go through a particular course, they apply for the job, and while they get the job, they keep their learning going by going through all the courses that we have in the master's course. Because the master's course, I think it goes around for 6 to 7 months, and obviously you will not wait for 6 to 7 months to start applying for jobs. So as soon as you are done with a particular profile, you apply for that job, you start working over there, and meanwhile you continue your learning journey. So that's why the test architect profile is made made like that. Okay. So Pranav is saying, I'm working in a data center where I used to do end-to-end solution test for server networking and storage, and I'm interested to move to cloud architect. Is it a correct domain which I am choosing as per your knowledge? Yes, Pranav, absolutely. I think you are the best candidate for going ahead for a cloud job. Reason being, let's say you're managing data centers for a particular company, and if they move all their infrastructure on cloud tomorrow, right? Again, you will have to just log into those servers and do the maintenance tasks that you have to do, right? But your skills you will have to improve on. Why? Because most of the things that you're managing currently will now be managed by the cloud provider, right? So if you upgrade yourself to AWS and Azure, you will be learning a lot more things which you can basically put in your skills, and I think that will help you to apply for the cloud engineer profile. Okay, Rohan is saying, after doing machine learning course, what to do then? So I think, Rohan, once you're done with machine learning, you have two choices: apply for jobs, or what you can also do is you can basically upgrade yourself to for learning AI as well. So it all depends on what your area of interest is. So mostly what people do is once they're done with the course, they start applying for jobs, and if they feel the jobs that they're applying for, they are giving them they're still not happy with the kind of package that they're getting over there. Obviously, it will be an upgrade to the current package that you're earning, but let's say they still want to be, growing in their career as they move along. Then the next step that they do is they also learn AI. They also learn data analytics. They also learn data science. So it all depends on what your aim is in the future, and according to that, you can basically go ahead and learn things. Okay, Abhishek is saying Azure has many versions available. Which one should I be choosing for architect or administrator role? So Abhishek, for architect, it is the 304 exam that you should basically be preparing for. For administrator role, there's a 104 exam that you should be preparing for. So like I said, all you have to do is just go to Intellipaat website, see the course content for Azure architect and Azure admin, and you will get to know the differences in the things that you have to learn. If I were to give you an overview, the architect would basically have skills of database as well, and the administrator would be an overlap of architect but without the databases. So that was the main difference. At the same time, the administrator would be expected to do a lot more troubleshooting on Linux operating system than what you will be learning in the architect course. So that is the main difference. Okay, Bhanu is saying, I'm into ETL and data warehousing and now working on API, but I don't have experience in automation testing. What about the future to learn and upgrade my career? So I think with ETL and data warehousing, I think you're already on a good career side. And but while you're also learning API integration, I think the next step for you should be towards being an architect. because that will not only improve your skills about how infrastructures are architected, but at the same time you will go out of ETL and databases, and you will learn more about where or how these things are basically deployed, or how these things are basically managed, right? So it will be on a large scale than what you are doing currently. So if is you are looking out for a profile to go for, I think the profile would be a cloud architect that you should basically go next for. Okay, Rohan is saying, I'm from a mechanical background, I don't have any experience. So Rohan, in that case, I think I'll suggest you learn a cloud platform in case you're interested. Or if you are interested in, let's say, in the data science profile, you should go for machine learning too. But given the fact that you will also have to deal with mathematics and statistics over there, which I think would be good for you, given the fact that if you have done mechanical engineering, you've already dealt with physics, which again involves a lot of calculations. You have dealt with the mathematics, which is again a part of engineering, right? So if even if you're going for machine learning or for cloud, both would be a win-win situation. It is all on your interest, what you want to learn. So Banu is saying AWS or Azure. So Banu, same thing which I've told to others. So if you are aiming for a company which has more of Microsoft products, you can go for Azure. If you are aiming for a company, if you are aiming for a job profile which has more opportunities, then you can go for AWS because it has a larger market share. And if you are starting off right now and you do not know which cloud to learn first, so then in that case, I think you should go for AWS first. Okay. So with that, guys, I think the questions are done. So I thank you all for joining in today. I hope you guys have learned something new from this session. And like I said, the recordings will be available to you. They will be sent to you over the email. And if you have any more questions, you can always email us at sales@intellipaat.com, or you can also call us on the numbers displayed on screen. What you can also do is just head over to intellipaat.com. So there we have a chat agent with whom you can chat and discuss what are your queries, and even they will be happy to answer all your doubts, right? So as soon as you land up on intellipaat.com, there will be a chat window which will open over here, where you can basically ask all your doubts. And at the same time, here are also the numbers that you can basically call on in order to discuss your doubts, right? So as you can see, just click on chat with us, enter your doubt over here, and our support people will be happy to answer all your queries. Okay. Uh, Abhishek is saying, who will be providing the training for Azure Architect from Intellipaat? Is it provided by Somadeep? He's a good instructor. So Abhishek, Somadeep, yes, he does teach AWS with us. I'm not pretty sure about Azure. You can just check with the sales team, but just by giving them a call. If you feel that that is something that you should go ahead with, and if that is the right instructor for you, you can go ahead and get in touch with the team, and they can give you the dates for his next batch. So Pranam is saying, so what is your name? Pranam, my name is Hemant. Thanks, it was useful. Pranam is saying, do you have any classes in Intellipaat? Yes, Pranam. So I basically do classes on cloud and DevOps. So if you're interested, you can enroll into our courses, and I'll probably see you there. All right. Okay, guys. So I think those are the end of the questions. I thank you all for joining today. Have a great day ahead, and goodbye.